This episode of Cognitive Dissonance is brought to you by our patrons. You fucking rock.
Hey guys, Jason in Iowa here. I just heard the last episode about Steve King. It makes us look so stupid that we have him there, but you have to remember, Steve King's district is like the western third of the state. There's nothing there. And it's very underpopulated and it's full of rural folks. You gotta cut us some slack. Anything from like Des Moines East, if we would just have that as a state, we would probably be as liberal and progressive as Minnesota. So you can't blame us for that western third. But, yeah, we're hoping Steve King gets out of there, and those people should be ashamed of their vote for him. And once he's gone, we can maybe see a good state come out of the Midwest here. All right, glory hole.
Hey, you dirty sluts. This is Jay from Seattle. I was just listening to your latest episode about, you were talking about prayer and fasting, what the fasting is supposed to do. And in my experience for 25 years as a crazy right-wing fundamentalist Baptist retard, which thankfully I've risen above at this point, the point of fasting is to essentially cause discomfort, which is supposed to remind you that you've got a goal or a purpose, and it's supposed to be like something that's constantly on your mind to remind you that you're supposed to be praying for baby Jesus or Papa Donald or whoever the fuck it is you're supposed to be praying for. It's stupid, and it's pretty ridiculous. And then a lot of times I've seen it get actually pretty dangerous, where like pastor I had at one point lost like 40 pounds because somebody in the congregation had cancer and he just wouldn't stop fasting because he's a moron. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say. Glory hole, bitches.
Hey guys, this is Bex from the shitty Pocono, Pennsylvania. I'm just calling for the first time. I'm a long-time listener. I love you guys. I want you to know two things. A, enough with the new intro. Just keep it how it was. I like it. I think we all like it. And B is I fucking love balls. They're amazing. So just to piggyback on what that chick said last week, you know, don't knock them till you try them. Glory hole, motherfuckers.
Be advised that this show is not for children, the faint of heart, or the easily offended. The explicit tag is there for a reason.
You flip the button, press the switch there.
Did all the knobs.
Is there a knob to twiddle?
No.
Try twiddling a knob. See if the lights come on.
There's no knob.
There's always a knob. Mm-mm. Look under the butt. Mm-mm. There's a knob.
There's a knob.
Well, you've got it all sorted out. Is the button recorder?
It's going.
Putting the sounds in its house or however that works. Recording live from Glory Hole Studios in Chicago. This is Cognitive Dissonance. Every episode, we blast anyone who gets it our way. We bring critical thinking, skepticism, and irreverence to any topic that makes the news, makes it big, or makes us mad. It's skeptical, it's political, and there is no government. This is episode 400.
The truth.
Well, you know what? I like this episode 453. I would like to say that there is no government, but what we really mean is 800,000 people are furloughed, but that doesn't really mean anything because 450,000 of them are just slaves or whatever.
They're just not getting paid.
Yeah. They get to go to work, but they don't get to get paid for the work.
I have a friend.
We have a long and storied history of doing that to people.
I have a friend in the Justice Department, and he was telling me, I have to go in 1 day a week, and all the cases that I'm working on, someone else works on for 1 day a week. So they're basically rotating the schedule.
Oh,
he's like, and basically I can't do anything with any of their cases, but I just say I'm working on them. It's like literally they can't all go in.
What are you supposed to do?
They have to go one at a time. And so they're all just going in one at a time.
You know, so we're on day infinity 5 or something. of the shutdown.
And all Trump would have to do is snap his fingers with the infinity gauntlet on and just boom. And he could end this entire thing and kill half the population at the same time.
I think at this point I would be satisfied if he settled for half the population. I mean, like,
I think the workers would be too. They'd be like, is that the sacrifice?
If 2020 rolls by, we still have half of us.
Yeah.
If we're like, hey.
To be honest, though, that might be good.
Yeah. If we have like better odds than Flippy Cup of getting it to 2020.
Pretty good.
Because I'm not sure that we do. But we're on day who gives a fuck anymore of this fake shutdown. Like, and I say fake shutdown because, you know, there's some bullshit around this shutdown, right? Because we shut it down and then we say, well, but a lot of you guys really need to come to work. So you get to come to work, but we're not going to pay you. And then what that does, part of the message that sends to the larger populace is that, well, you can shut the government down and my day just goes on as normal.
Doesn't matter, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't need the government. Maybe you shut the government down and all that happens is some fucking hillbillies go off-roading through Joshua Tree and nobody picks up the garbage at Yosemite. Right? Right?
Yeah.
But like, that's only because 450,000 of these people are going to work for free.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. And they're your air traffic control guys.
TSA people.
They're your TSA people. Like, if we want to really like be true about this shutdown, well, we need to shut it all down.
Yeah.
We need to shut down the FBI, except for the collusion part. Let's keep going with that.
Yeah.
We need to shut down the FBI. So like,
those guys are coming to work for free.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, no shit, right? Because I'll tell you what, like the first kid that gets kidnapped that calls the FBI and they're like, we're not working today.
Yeah, sorry, we're busy.
That's a big story. I tried to get on an airplane to go to my grandma's funeral, but there's no airports anymore.
There's no TSA.
We're just not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, let's do this where we are honest about what government means and what government provides to us, so that when we do shut it down, it's not this bullshit half measure, you went to work for free for a month nonsense that we're going through now, because we're just fucking lying to each other.
Yeah.
That's all we're doing.
You know, it's also a bullshit shutdown in the sense that this could be ended so quickly by so many different parties, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mitch McConnell has had legislation tried to pass a couple times and he's stifled it.
Right.
There's been the president could end it at any point. One of the things that they keep on pressing is this border. It's border. It's got to be a wall. It's got to be a wall. Oh, the government, the Democrats came back and said they really wanted to steal one, so we're picking out the fucking carpeting, I guess, on the wall. But you know, like this, it's a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit. They could easily fix this, and the House and the Senate have both come back with bills that could pass that would provide for border security and open the government. And they haven't been hearing them because they don't have those magic wall words in them.
Right. And, you know, like, this is not what the president's job is. This is not what the executive branch is designed to do.
No.
The legislative branch are the guys who are supposed to write the fucking laws. That's why we call that the legislative branch. And the executive branch is there to fucking sign it and to enforce it.
Sure.
That's it.
Yeah.
This sort of bullshit where the president sets our national agenda and then tells Congress to go get it done.
Yeah.
That's senior management, middle management shit.
Yeah.
That's not three co-equal branches.
Right. Exactly.
You know, like if I say like, I want a wall, go figure out how to build me a wall. Well, then I'm senior management telling middle management, go build me a workflow. Right.
Yeah.
That's not what we're supposed to have here.
Yeah.
It's just not. If the president doesn't get Congress to put a bill together that he likes, he should not be able to shut down the government in order to, you know, fucking fold his arms across his chest and have big pouty face time because he didn't get fucking mashed potatoes for dinner or whatever.
Do you think that that's a symptom of Trump coming from sort of that world where he is the CEO, that he thinks that that's how it works?
I think that's part of it. I also think it's part of the, 2.5 decades long overreach of executive
power. Yeah.
You know,
I think you're right.
So I think we've really changed or gotten confused about what the role of the president is. And it certainly has evolved from what was a co-equal branch of the legislative and judiciary to this new sort of head honcho emperor sort of role that we've got now.
Yeah.
And this is a bullshit. This is part of what happens when you have this new power structure, this new power dynamic where the president is really fucking in charge in ways that I don't think is intended to really be in charge.
It's interesting too, because you know that the people that are on the Republican side currently don't mind the overreach.
Right.
They don't care and they want that overreach.
As long as it's Republican overreaching.
Exactly, right? But then if it's a Democrat, That's not good. And they're like, Obama, too much overreach. And so there's never going to be, unless you have like the presidency and the House and the Senate and are committed to stopping the overreach, then you'll get it done. But you have to stifle your own power.
Yeah, it'll never happen.
And nobody does that.
That's the thing. My worry is like those floodgates are open. That ship has sailed. Right. It's like whatever your metaphor is, like that's done now.
Yeah.
That's done now. The only thing that does give me pause is that, what we're seeing in this tension, what we're seeing in this shutdown is the legislative body actually exerting some of the control that they're designed to exert.
Right.
So they're holding strong on this is the only thing that is going to begin that equivalence process that we need to begin to reestablish. And I hope that we do it. I genuinely, I hope that we do it. Because all of this stuff, this is all bullshit, man. First of all, a bill was passed to provide back pay to the furloughed workers, right? But what's shocking is that unlike the bill in 2014, which passed unanimously, 7 Republicans as part of the Freedom Caucus voted against this bill.
Freedom Caucus.
Freedom. You have the freedom not to get paid for that work you did.
Freedom Caucus.
And one of the things
they ride a bald eagle into the Senate every time. I don't think they make that sound.
That's the sound eagles make. I've watched the Colbert Show.
I don't think they make that sound.
That's what this. You didn't watch Colbert. Yeah. They come in, they scrick like that. That's how. No,
I don't think so.
What sound do they make? Do they make a sound?
They make that really high pitch.
Do they really? Oh no, they need a caw. No, we need to pass a law. They need to caw.
I can't do it.
We need to change it. They hiss like a snake?
They do. They hiss like
What are they in House Slytherin?
Well, they hiss like a snake because they're grabbing the snake from the ground and treading on it. And so
no step on snake. 7 of these dudes were like, yeah, we're not voting to give back pay to the furloughed workers. And one of the objections was like, look, this basically puts the government on autopilot. If this thing goes on for 3 or 6 months or longer, we don't want these guys getting paid for not working. Is what they said. It's like they want to work.
Yeah,
they want to work. You don't want the TSA. Imagine
what a shit show.
So let's use the TSA as an example because it's a nice example for a lot of reasons. We have this idea, and I also read an interesting article that said maybe part of this is Trump's ingenious attempt to show that we can operate on a shoestring, that we can cut half of the federal workers out of the budget and we're still operational. Well, you have to define operational differently, right? Because the fucking benefits coordinator at the TSA doesn't have to show up for work for 25 days, right? And that sucks. But you can't, and the TSA, the planes will continue to go in and out for 25 days, but there will come a time where we need to hire people and fire people and administrate their benefits. Right. And somebody wants to go on maternity leave and someone's got to do all that. And we can't pretend that because it's not mission critical, that it is not critical.
That's such a great point, right? Business it requires all that stuff.
It requires all those pieces. Yeah. Imagine your company if you fired your HR guy, right? Just use an example. You'd be all right for a week or two.
Yeah.
But you would not be all right for 6 months.
You can run on fumes.
Right.
You can run on fumes. That's possible. But the fumes run out eventually.
Yeah, because eventually your business changes. Yeah. Whatever it is. And you need to do the things that those people do. Yeah. And you'll look around and you won't have the expertise to do them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like these people are working. And they've been working for the better part of a month for free. Now, we used to have a name for that.
Yeah.
And if you didn't show up, we sent dogs after you. And it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Don't get me started. We had a name for that.
They had a subway or an underground railroad or something.
I don't know. There was a bathtub man or something. I don't know. It doesn't. I don't know. Just very hairy. So, but we have these folks that are going to work, but there's going to come a time where they're not going to be able to afford to continue to do this.
Right.
And let's be real. The TSA, they're going to go get a job working security somewhere to feed their family.
Man.
And your planes aren't going to go out.
Right.
Because somebody's right now, these things are true. Somebody's car got repossessed because they were one payment away because they were living paycheck to paycheck and they didn't get it. Somebody's car just got repossessed. That's the thing that just happened. Somebody wanted to buy a house. Now they're late on all their payments and they don't qualify for the house they wanted to buy, which means somebody else didn't sell the house, which means that somebody didn't move and somebody else didn't move and somebody's kids didn't go to school. The effects of this are not just, well, they went to work and then they'll get a check when they're done.
Oh, yeah.
There are costs we don't remunerate for these folks that would even be difficult to quantify, but which are nonetheless real.
Another thing that's been happening recently is we talked about it on last week's show about Steve King and his racist comments about the white nationalists.
Go Iowa!
Go
Hawkeyes!
What's wrong with white supremacists, guys? I'm just curious.
When did that become a bad word?
Why is that? Oh, let's make a Gillette commercial about white supremacy.
You can't even whip a black guy in the street anymore or something.
Can't even shave him bald with a Gillette razor. Can't even bully black people anymore. But he's like, it's funny because there's so many people turning on him, and he's now, even his base, they went to, I was reading something where his base, they went to go to fucking Iowa, where all these corn goblins are in the far, far reaches of Iowa by Mordor or whatever. And they show up and all these people are like, yeah, I voted for him in the last 160 elections or whatever, but I am never going to vote for him again. And not because they don't like him, right? Yeah. They're saying, I like him. I like Steve. He's a great guy, blah, 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 blah. But this is just going to kill him, is what they're saying. They're already finding primary candidates to run against him in 2020. They're already looking in Iowa.
All they have to do is find a guy who doesn't support white supremacy in 2020.
Here, buddy, don't wear any orange and blue with stars. If you can do that, or this hood. If you don't do either of those things.
Like, this is the bar Iowa's trying to slither underneath.
And I do want to point out that it is the far reaches of Iowa. It's not like a city. Because someone sent us a message like, hey, man, it's not a city. There's not a city out there.
All right. I will apologize for that, too. Nobody thought Iowa had cities. Nobody thought.
I was surprised by it too.
Like four dudes jerking each other off in a corn silo is a city in Iowa. Are you kidding me? A city in Iowa? What would a city? What's your city? Des Moines? What do you have, an Arby's? Des Moines? That's not a city. Have you been to Des Moines?
I got to see how many people.
Oh my
Des Moines.
God. 217. My suburb has more people.
My condo has more people.
217,000. Your next biggest city is 132,000.
Oh, Cedar Rapids.
Oh my God.
Cedar Rapids is where it's at. That's where they have big roller coaster, right? In Cedar Rapids.
No. No, that would be fun. They don't do that in Iowa. There's no
Iowa
fun.
City is scraping the bottom with 75K.
Oh my God.
Whew.
Oh my God.
You know when Omaha almost doubles your shit?
Yeah, I know. Like, whoa, the big city of Omaha, Nebraska's.
But Steve King, we didn't get it on election night. We didn't get our wish on election night, but probably next election or maybe even sooner. There's a possibility they might ask him to step down sooner.
Here's something that we should all be ashamed of together. I think this show is going to have
let's do a collective shaming.
But honestly, we're in a place where we just excised all of these cancers from our system because of their treatment of women, right? And we've decided you can't play here anymore. You're out. Right. You're not welcome.
Right. Unless you're Brett Kavanaugh. But other than that,
well, I'll grant you that one for sure. But we got rid of Al Franken, for example.
Sure.
Because he took a photo that was in very, very poor taste, right? That pales in comparison to this comment.
No, absolutely.
Absolutely. Many of those moments absolutely pay, and not to suggest that they're not serious. But what I find disturbing and shameful is that this isn't the same kind of automatic grounds where we're not just like, fuck, wait, you said what?
Yeah.
You're out on your ass. Not like, you're not allowed to sit on these committees anymore.
Yeah, that's what happened.
You're not allowed to sit on these committees.
He got pulled out of 2 committees.
Yeah, you're fired.
Yeah.
You're fired. If somebody at my work said that, they're gone.
They have the power to censure him. They have the power to stop him from speaking at all.
They need to remove him from office. They need to put enough political pressure on him that they remove that fucking guy from office.
Where somehow he gets out.
Force him to resign.
Yeah, force him to resign. I think that's absolutely true. Do you want to talk a little bit about this Gillette ad, Tom?
Let's. It's the best ad I ever saw.
It's the best
I can get.
This ad can get is Gillette. So this Gillette ad came out this week. It's causing a big stink. A lot of people are talking about it. And that was the aim. I mean, let's just get that out of it. The aim is so that people talk about it. And we want to get that out of the way first.
Gillette knocked it out of the park in terms of like creating a cultural phenomenon.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah. Just like that Nike ad that we were talking about before when we talked about on the show, that Nike ad
the Colin
with
Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
So yeah, like they did a good job of making sure that they could, that people are going to talk about it. But the ad, if you haven't seen it, find it. It's everywhere. But if you watch the ad is basically it starts out with talking about like sort of old timey Gillette ads, the best a man can get. And then they start talking about all the different things that are happening recently. Toxic masculinity, the Me Too movement, those cyberbullying. And then it goes through a sort of very heartstringy ad of showing people getting bullied, showing people getting sexually harassed, showing people getting, talked over in meetings and things like that, like women getting talked over in meetings. And then it finally ends with people sort of standing up to those people and saying, hey, fucking knock that shit off. And men can be better, basically, is what the end message is. Men can be better. And we both saw the ad. Tom hadn't seen it until a few minutes ago. We watched it together. I had watched it this week because our fan page is blowing up about it. A lot of people talking about it. And a lot of people feeling a little threatened by it. A lot of guys feeling a little threatened by it because their immediate reaction was, well, hey, man, like, I'm not like that. I don't need a commercial to tell me not to bully people. What the fuck? Like I would never do that. And, I feel like I'm being preached at by this commercial and stuff. And one of the things that I want to mention, and I mentioned it on the fan page, but I want to mention it here is that I understand that reaction. I understand the pushback to that reaction. I understand that reaction because on this show, you and I, a while back, we had used a trans slur and we didn't know it was a slur. We said it. We got 2 days later, we got a message from a listener who said, hey guys, just so you know, that's a slur. You clearly didn't, they knew that we didn't mean it. And they sent us a media guide along with it. And initially, I remember talking to you about this. I was a little angry about getting that email. And I was angry because I felt like I was an ally. The whole time I've been an ally to this movement, to, LGBT movement. I've been, an ally the whole time. And I felt like, what, well, don't you listen to us? Like, what the hell? Come on. You know that I'm with you.
Right.
And I stopped and I thought about it and I thought, there's going to be somebody out there, a chance that somebody's out there and they're going to hear that slur that I made and they're going to be hurt by it. And why should I hurt somebody just for my own selfishness in that way? So I stopped using it. You stopped using it. We haven't used it since. And so I understand being part of a group that's being called out and saying, well, wait a minute, I'm a fucking ally here. I understand that. But there are people out there who need to see this ad and hear this stuff because they're the target, not you. You're not the target.
There's something that's like couple of things. One is just a throwaway comment, but I think it's interesting that like Nike and Gillette and other companies of similar, like they're able to generate buzz simply by making media that puts them on the right side of history. And it occurs to me that like it should be harder to get attention than to just say the things which we know are easy truths about how to be on the right side of history.
Sure.
The fact that it is not, the fact that this commercial is controversial tells you everything you need to know about this message has not obviously reached everybody. If this message had already reached all of its audience, if there was no necessity for this kind of messaging, then this messaging would be like, yeah, whatever. I don't remember that commercial.
Right.
It
would just wash over you.
It would be like any other commercial. It would be like a G.I. Joe PSA. It would have no more emotional impact than that, right?
Sure.
The fact that that people are so reactive to it is enough in and of itself to say like, well, there's still a lot to react against here. There's still something going on that this speaks to.
I like you when I first saw it thought, yeah, absolutely. I don't see a problem with it. But I also understand if somebody is, getting, they have that pushback. They have that natural reaction to push back and say, not me. And there's that joke hashtag, not all men or not all, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, right.
Because it was, because there was. So I'm pretty sure it was a reaction to the Me Too movement, but it was that not all men hashtag, right? Because women were saying, look, I was sexually harassed or assaulted. Me too. Another woman, I was sexually harassed or assaulted. Me too. Basically saying me too, me too. And there's a bunch of guys who feel threatened by that. Like, oh, I've never done that.
Right.
I've never done that. Not all men do that. That's not what they're saying, right? And the problem is that you're missing each other.
Yeah.
Like you're missing each other. One person saying one thing, the other person is thinking that they're talking to them. They're not talking. It's not about you, man.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the problem, is that people want to make it about themselves. It's not about you.
Yeah, I think that's like when you watch the Gillette commercial, I think that's a great point, right? The Gillette commercial is not about like, you're probably doing this, cut it out.
Yeah.
Right? I think if you watch the Gillette commercial, what struck me about that commercial, I watched it just a handful of minutes ago, and I thought like, the part of the world I don't want to live in is a part of the world where like I watched that commercial and then somebody says, well, that was controversial.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like I look at that commercial and I think like, yeah, that's like that's basic enough that like if that's what you teach your kids or that's how you behave, that's literally a minimum standard.
Yeah.
You know? That's minimum standard shit.
Yeah, don't bully people, right?
Yeah. I mean, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, right.
And like there's a scene in it. Let's talk a little bit about like some of the pieces of it. There's a scene in it where like these people are at a barbecue and this one kid is beating up another kid at the barbecue. And the one dad turns to, and he's like beating up the little kid. And he like turns to him. He's like, boys will be boys. And then the other dad just comes over and is like, hey, that's not how we behave. And I thought like, who doesn't do that?
Yeah.
Who just watches some kid beat up another kid? Your kid is beating up another kid. And you're just like, it's just what he does. Like sometimes he just hits people.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, I wouldn't let my dog bite people.
Yeah, right.
I'm not an asshole.
Right.
You're not trying, like these moments are so basic. And I watched this thing and I thought like, my God, if this is controversial, we aren't there yet.
Oh yeah,
Like,
we need it. Then we still need it.
Shame on us.
Yeah, we still need it.
Shame on us for having a controversy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I can't think of a moment of that commercial that is controversial.
Yeah.
And so like when it happens and then there's this big like, oh, it's now this cultural moment, you know, we all have to contend with the message of the Gillette commercial. Oh my God. Well, what's the message? Well, you know, the message is don't play grab ass with your secretary, right? Right.
It's like,
I'm being honest.
I'm Troy McClure. You can't do this anymore. You know,
like, and like when a woman speaks, don't say what she really meant was.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you knew what she really meant.
Yeah.
Or if you could say it better because she told it to you the day before.
Or you're her interpreter. Those are the three ways. I'll allow either one of those.
But I mean, like, for fuck's sake, like there's nothing to react to except for to be like, oh, God, we shouldn't need that.
Yeah.
It's like if you fart in public. Do you know what I mean? And somebody looks at you just like, the fuck did you, what the fuck? And you're just like, oh, should I not fart here? What? No. What did you, were you raised by animals? What is wrong with What's happening?
We watch a whole Gillette commercial of people farting in public and everybody just waving and being like, what is happening over there? Stop doing that.
Because like for real, like if this is controversial, then maybe we don't get better than this.
Then you're right.
Like,
maybe that's it.
Like maybe like the best a man can get is be like, I'm going to use the razors to slip my wrists in the bathtub tonight because I can't live like this.
The best we can get is global warming will kill us in 5 years. That's the best we can get.
I mean, like, for real, that kid in that video is like walloping on the other kid.
Beating the shit out of the other one.
And the moment I'm supposed to be like, that is a head scratch when the dad's like, that's not how we treat other people. Or like, it's like the kid who's being bullied is being chased by like enough kids that a luck dragon is his only hope of escape.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And like, there's like 6 kids chasing this guy.
I know.
And like, I've never in my life been in a situation where 6 kids are chasing one person.
I've never been in that situation either. They caught me and beat me up already.
But, but if I were, and I was just like, well, that kid's going to get his ass kicked. Anyway, hot dogs for lunch.
Right.
What the fuck?
Right.
What the fuck? No, we can't even live in a world where these messages are not taken for granted.
Right.
That's the depressing part. That's the part
depressing.
we should all be like, well, Trump's the president, and somehow we turned left on the continuum. Like, I don't know what happened here.
God has no place within these walls, just like facts have no place within organized religion.
Okay. So here we go on this one. This is from the Friendly Atheist blogs over at Pathos. Indiana. Try to restrain your shock, Cecil. So GOP legislator in the great state of Meth sponsors bill to teach creationism in public schools. This is State Senator Dennis Cruz. And he's been around for actually quite a long time.
Right. Yeah.
Not a new guy to the legislative scene in Indiana. All right, so here's what Senate Bill 373 actually requires. There's 3 parts of this bill. These, by the way, will do so much to help the children for the learnings.
Right.
Like you could put these up in the fucking Zoolander school for children who don't read good or whatever.
My favorite is the first one. Like, absolutely.
So here's what you have to do. The first tells schools to put up a, quote, durable poster or framed picture.
Durable poster. Why? Is someone going to ejaculate on it? What is happening?
Oh, man. Is that a semi-permanent poster? I don't know the answer to that, sir. Is that durable?
Yeah.
Is it? Can you rip it?
Why do we have all these posters made out of rice paper? I don't even understand why we're doing this.
Tore right in half. Well, you tore it. What the fuck? Just don't do that.
It's like super dainty, and you're like trying to pin it on the wall. Fucking ripped again.
Oh my God.
Damn it!
This is 300-year-old parchment. Like, what the fuck? A durable poster or frame picture that says, "In God we trust." And it says, and don't think you can get away with a small little thing either. The bill specifies the poster must be at least 4 inches in height by 15 inches in width.
Wait, that's not very big, is it?
Well, I mean, it's girthy.
4 inches?
15 inches in width.
4 inches. Let me pull out my dick. 4 inches of height.
Okay, so 3 dicks. 3.5.
4 dicks. 4 inches in height and then 15. Isn't that like a legal pad folded in half? Like, that's really not that big.
And it must include print large enough to fill the dimensions established by this subdivision. I like that too, because some asshole administrator like me would be like, I will have 4 inches by 15 and I will print that thing in like 0.25 font.
Exactly. You need a microscope.
The upper left-hand corner.
You need an electron scanning microscope. Right. I'm going to print it on the atom. So it's got to say, "In God we trust." Like, there's a couple of things about that. One, how do you know how much I trust God? Right? Like, we're trying to like enforce the level of trusts that you have in a deity. Yeah. Like, you're going to send them off to their trustometer. Like, how exactly do you measure?
Well, like in any relationship that has trust, the relationship has to have something you trust someone to do for you. Right?
That's true.
Or to not do for you. Yeah. So I'm not even sure how you would trust God. Like, what would I trust him to do? Like, I got cancer. Well, I trust God. Fuck. Okay, I would have trusted him more if he didn't give me the cancer. I'm not going to lie about that.
I'm going to trust him to have a whole fleet of angels playing the sad trombone for me when I die from bone cancer.
What? Like I it's funny because like I did think about that. Like I'm not even being facetious. I don't even know what that phrase really means. Like in a functional way.
I don't either. Yeah.
In God we trust. Yeah. Do you trust God? Yeah. To do what? Like, that's just implicitly like, I trust him not to fuck around on me, I guess. Like,
the sign though.
What?
The sign is up for the student. Like, you're putting it up, like, you're not putting it up for the administrators, right? Like, it's not for the administrators. It's for the students, right? And so it's supposed to be like, you put a sign up so that you could tell students, here's where the assembly hall is. Here's when lunch is. Here's what a periodic table looks like, right? You're showing them something. And so you're telling them something. And when you tell them, "In God we trust," what I wonder is you're almost like enforcing it, right? Like, that's like a rule on the wall. It's like,
this is something we do here.
Yes, this is something well, like, how do you measure the trust? I just don't get it.
Well, the other part
it's
of
like
that
a
might
thought
be
police thing too, right?
Yeah. Well, is either that or it's like, it's to subtly just form the thoughts by bombarding them with like,
right.
Messages,
I see what you mean. Sure, like it's indoctrination.
Yes, it's just around so much that it becomes part of your everyday. So that you're just like, I trust God. And people are like, to do what and why? And you're just like, I read a sign in middle school. I don't remember.
That's where I got all my values.
Signs in middle school. An owl once told me it was bad to lie. So I don't like what?
Also, only I can prevent forest fires. Thank you very much.
And abstinence. Well, that's why I have 4 kids. All right, so the second one I don't have a problem with. Like if you're offering comparative religion class and you want to include the Bible,
yeah, I don't mind that either.
It's Western civilization. Seems like a good call.
Yeah, I mean, like if you are doing religions of Japan, maybe not included.
Yeah, right. But if it's like a comparative survey of religions,
that's
like
fine.
That seems like one of the top 3. Like,
I agree. That's fine.
All right. And the final one is the governing body of a school corporation may require the teaching of various theories concerning the origin of life, including creation science, within the school corporation. So basically, that's back. And I give it's how many times is that going to rear its ugly head?
I know.
And then it's going to go to the court, and the court's going to be like, oh my God.
Do I have to dig up a scopes?
Oh my God. Yeah, right? Are we still adjudicating this?
We lost that one, I think.
We did lose that.
We lost that one. Yeah.
So. But it's like, this question's been settled. Yeah. It's so fucking settled. You're both pretty. Like, stop. Like, what the fuck?
I know. They've got to get top billing, right? They've got to get top billing. It's when I read through this, though, the first thought was like, yeah, Mike Pence. Like, that's the first thing that they're because
I know
he's associated with Indiana forever.
Garbage state. Yeah.
Now, the concern, obviously, is if this isn't bottled up in San Francisco, this kind of nonsense, then it's going to be spreading across the entire fruited plain, and you're going to be going to your Burger King in Des Moines, Iowa, and you're going to have a rainbow-colored wrapper for your Whopper.
So this story comes in Huffington Post, but it's also just everywhere. Karen Pence is working at a school that bans LGBTQ employees and kids. Now, this is Vice President Mike Pence's wife, Karen Pence. You might know her as mommy or mother.
Mother, I think.
Mother, I think, is what he calls his wife.
Mother Clucker.
Gah! It's fucking weird.
It is weird.
So weird. She works at a school that like basically makes you sign something if you're going to be an employee there that says, I'm totes not gay, I promise. And then if it turns out
it's
you're
more
totes
than
gay,
that, though. It's more than that. I want to read it. It says, it's talking about moral misconduct on this thing. It says, qualifications for employees include, but are not limited to, such behaviors as the following: heterosexual activity outside of marriage, premarital sex, cohabitation, or extramarital sex. Homosexual or lesbian sexual activity. Well, I make the distinction. Polygamy, right? Aren't they the same? I mean, like one is it's like one smaller Venn diagram or something. Like I don't even get it. Polygamy
isn't polygamy just extramarital sex?
Yeah, I mean, like again, it's like you could just have one big Venn diagram here. Transgender identity, any other violation of the unique roles of male and female. That seems weird.
I like math. You're out of this school, girl.
Sexual harassment or viewing of pornographic material or websites. Those are your things that...
So nobody can go.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, nobody's ever going to go.
Our employees are limited to no employees. It's going to be just like a fucking hedgehog. It's just like the principal of the school. Like, really?
Yeah.
So no premarital sex, cohabitation, nobody that watches porn.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even... that just excludes every heterosexual. Like, the only people that can work here are like
liars,
incels and liars. Yeah.
Liars.
Yeah, right,
that's
liars.
Who works here.
Yes.
People who are like, I never looked at no pornographic material on that. What's the website called that has pornographic material? What is
internet?
It sounds gross. What is that? What is that website? It sounds disgusting.
Send me a bookmark.
Just tell me what it is, though, so I don't go there. I just want to make sure I don't go there.
I want to not look at what you're also
tell me
seeing.
Hub? What is it again? Pornhub? Oh, that sounds gross. Really gross.
The whole hub of it.
Is it one word?
Means I can get a lot of different options.
Is it just one word? .com? Is that it?
It's a .com, right?
I just want to make sure it's on my net nanny.
They have a mobile-friendly site?
Yeah, the application says that the school believes marriage unites one man and one woman.
And that a
what
wife...
is it, like a 3-stage rocket? Like, what is happening here?
I mean, the marriage...
Oh, shit. And it says that the wife is commanded to submit to her husband as the church submits to Christ. Jesus.
This is the vice president's wife. So you get like... It is reasonable to think that he shares these views.
Oh, yeah.
Also, all of the available evidence about him is that he shares these views.
Yeah, I'm not shocked at all that she's part of something like this.
This is the most egregiously narrow-minded view of Christianity possible.
Yeah.
And we are one hamburger away.
One hamburger. You got to look out for the hamburger. Rabble, rabble. There's a hilarious meme this week that showed him standing with all the Hamberders, and he's in the Hamburglar outfit, and it says, "Don't worry, I got Taco Bell to pay for it all." Taco Bell. It's fucking amazing. Oh, Jesus. You saw all the fucking Hamburglers, though, that he had on the table, right?
Oh,
all
I
the
did.
different
Yeah,
Big
I
Macs
did.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's so funny. The first comment I saw about that, this is where I'm going to refresh everybody's memory here. This is Trump this week had posted a photo of him hosting the Clemson kids who just beat Alabama in the college footballs. And he was hosting, I think it was Clemson, at the White House, but there's a shutdown. So they didn't have people to prepare the food. And so he bought a bunch of what he called Hamberders, which I misspelled hamburgers. And he has a bunch of those and
hot coffee buffet.
And he had them all on a table on a silver platter with candles. And he had a bunch of hamburgers and a bunch of Wendy's stuff, Big Macs, whatnot. And so he served the Clemson kids fast food because we didn't have a shutdown. But the first comment I saw, which was fucking hilarious, was, "Oh yeah, I have no idea where the president who owns a hotel down the street could possibly get this catered."
Yeah, and I like too that, like, a couple of things. He bragged about using his own money for that. And it's like, yeah, but you are also bragging about being a billionaire.
Right.
You have billions of dollars. You're bragging about, like, I sprung off the dollar menu for these kids.
I know, yeah. It's a couple $1,000. Yeah.
Big fucking deal.
It's you know what I mean? For the president, that shouldn't be a lot. A couple $1,000.
For a billionaire?
All of your federal employees are going without that couple $1,000 right now.
Literally,
So,
who cares?
yeah.
Like, it's not even, it's so, like, measured against the wealth he claims to have, it's not even generous.
I know. Right.
It doesn't even count as generosity.
You should tip that to the doorman every time you leave a building.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and then, like, he also tweeted something like, "Rather than have the first and second lady make these kids a bunch of salads, I bought them these Hamberders."
Hamburglers.
It's like, you know, like, women don't just make salads. Like, they'll get you a sandwich too. It was so sexist, though. It was so funny. It's like
so bad.
And like the idea is, like, these are a bunch of high school, like not high school, but like a bunch of like college
kids,
athletes.
yeah.
They're not going to want to eat a salad. And it's like, well, okay, well, then make them something else.
They're also athletes. These are kids who are paying attention to what they eat.
Yeah,
they probably have a team nutritionist.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they don't want a fucking Big Mac.
Right.
They
Yes.
probably don't want it, nor can they use it. I know their season's over now, so maybe it's a big cheat day, but still.
Can you imagine blowing cheat day on cold Big Macs that have been, because like all that food is cold too. Like, enjoy your cold, shitty French fries from a garbage restaurant.
And you know what's funny? What's hilarious about this is you look at how it looks, and it's the president is standing there, big smile on his face, and you have a bunch of hamburgers. I can't stop saying it. It's
so
the best.
funny.
A bunch of these all wrapped up, all really nicely, and they're on a silver platter. And it reminds me of the comment, whoever made it, I don't remember who, that Trump is a poor man's version of a rich man.
Yes.
Trump is a weak man's version of a strong man. He's a dumb person's version of a smart man. And you see this in him. When you see this, you're just like, it's so fucking white trash.
Yes. Yeah.
It's unreal. You see it and you're just like, Jesus Christ, you're the worst. And it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Yes, it
you know,
is.
first off, I don't really care that some kids threw the football really hard at each other and they won a thing. Like, it doesn't matter to me. I didn't watch the game. It mattered to a bunch of other people. That's fine, whatever you like. It doesn't matter to me. But you know what? If you have a tradition of inviting these kids there to go there, they should be treated well, right? You shouldn't just be like, okay, guys, this is the White House. I'm gone. I'm going to go upstairs and watch the nightly news. You guys just show yourself up.
Right.
There should be something nice that they do if you're doing a tradition of it.
Yes. It's so funny because, like, I saw that same picture and I was like, this is America in a picture.
It is. Absolutely.
Right? It's just like, it's everything wrong. But if you put it on a silver platter and grin in front of it like a fucking gaping idiot, somehow that's supposed to make it better.
Yeah.
It's like, I put the obesity crisis on a silver platter. And I grinned like a fucking moron in front of it. And now I'm classy.
I also felt too, when I was thinking about it, was like, it really felt like it was a distraction from the shutdown. And I felt almost like he wanted this publicity. He doesn't care that he's being made fun of about this because it was pulling away from the bad publicity of the shutdown.
I think part of the messaging in it, inherent in that, is like, look, America can still get by with its, nothing more American than McDonald's, right? So America can still get by. We don't need all this fancy stuff. The government works on a shoestring. We can have these kids over and feed them our hamburgers. We don't need a private chef in order to do it. America, America. We're always here to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and make do with what we got and, all that shit. And it's like, what you're missing out of all of that is like, your solution is bad. Yeah. It's still a bad, low rent, classless, shitty solution that provides only the ghost of sustenance. Right. Which is just like all of your rest of your messaging. Yeah. It is the so ghost of substance.
Ready to stick it in the glory hole? Get links to their Facebook, Twitter, and if you still use it, Google Plus account at their website, dissonancepod.com. If you need to be all discreet about it, contact them by email at dissonance.podcast@gmail.com. Or you can call and leave a ransom message at 740-74-DOUBT. That's 740-743-6828. Want to hear Cognitive Dissonance commercial-free and gain access to exclusive content, including full patron-only shows? Head to patreon.com/dissonancepod and become a patron to support the show on a per-episode basis. Love commercials? Not ready to become a patron? Give the guys a 5-star review on iTunes or Stitcher. Or tell your buddies in the drunk tank about the show. We want to send a big sloppy glory hole to all the patrons and people who rate us. You fucking rock.
So this is from the Pathos blogs, this is Godzooks, which I've never used Godzooks before.
I've never seen Godzooks.
I've never used Godzooks. This website gives me the willies. It's like a Christian Stepford Wives. Kinda. So this is a basically like a YouTube blog channel.
Vlogger.
It's a vlogger. It's vlogging. And it's two, as this website describes it, winsome, wholesome looking Christian blondes from Texas. And they're teaching girls. So this is one of those like girls teaching girls, right? How to subjugate themselves properly for the pleasure of the male folk. And it's not much different in that respect. And the reason I grabbed this story, it's not much different in that respect than like when the Republicans will seize on their one black friend to criticize black people. Like, we got to criticize Black Lives Matter. Let's get our black friend out here to do it. It's kind of the same thing, right? You get a couple of good-looking young blonde girls to come out and say like, hey, here's the message. And there's really nothing shocking about this message. This is that age-old Christian message.
Yeah, this is a Promise Keepers type of message.
Right. Exactly. That's exactly the right piece of it. But like what I think is particularly like troublesome about it is who's doing the messaging. It matters who presents your message.
Absolutely,
it matters a lot.
Absolutely. So. It lends it a level of credibility that you might not get if it was being mansplained to all these girls.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, if I said the same thing, it's patronizing, right? And it's because it's to my explicit benefit.
Right.
The world, like their worldview, let's be honest, is to my explicit benefit as a white dude. Like, it'd be like, well, we just want to like cook and clean and make your house and everything you say is right. It'd be like, that's hard for me to say. I don't like that.
Yeah, right. But it's interesting because one of the things that they say in this, and one of the things that I seized on, because it's a large portion of this video, is when they're talking about whether or not a girl should date a non-religious guy.
Yes.
Like, if you're a Christian girl, should you date a non-religious guy? And I personally I'm of two minds on that. I think if you're really into each other and stuff, like, nobody's asking my advice, but I would say, like,
I'm curious where you go with this.
If you're really into each other, I think that you can absolutely reach a common understanding as long as you're willing to be flexible in your belief structure. if you're not willing to be flexible at all, if you're 100% like, and these girls are non-flexible. So if they're 100% non-flexible, there's nowhere to go with that, right? If the girl is 100% non-flexible, the guy is 100% non-flexible, and the other person isn't, and wants to try to, and they aren't the same exact religion, you're probably not going to go anywhere. And so I think that there has to be some sort of willingness to meet in the middle. The girls talk about 5 different points. They say the 5 reasons why you shouldn't date a non-religious guy. And I want to read the 5 points. 1, we won't share the same values. 2, don't have the same mission of sort of helping other people, et cetera, and being, in Christ. 3, they can't lead you. 4, they won't share the same worldview, which sounds a lot like values and mission, but anyway. And then 5, can't seek the Lord together.
These all sound like the same thing.
They really sound a lot like the same thing. It sounds like you're making the same point 5 times. Right. That's what it sounds like to me.
What if I wrote it again?
Yeah.
It'll still be the same.
But it's interesting because I got a chance to see this because I you hear this question as an atheist. You hear this question, and we get asked this question on occasion. You hear it and see it a lot. And I was curious to see what the religious people would say. And they said, no, you shouldn't. You won't find the same common ground.
That doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise me either. It doesn't surprise me.
I think the way that it can work is if one person, probably the less religious person, doesn't really care very much.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I think if your worldview, if that's an important part of your worldview, and it's a really important part of the other person's worldview, then you almost have to agree not to talk about it.
Yeah. Or you just go like for many years in my marriage, my wife was a Catholic for many years. I just went along with it. I wasn't going to Catholic mass every week,
right?
But on a couple occasions a year, she'd ask me to go, and I'd go. And so I just did it. I just did it. She's not a Catholic anymore, but she was at the time. Mm-hmm. Her beliefs have evolved since then. And
were your beliefs real strong at the time?
I was an atheist. I was definitely an atheist when I met her.
But I mean, like, how much did it matter to you? I guess is why curious. I'm genuinely curious. Like, did it matter to you that you were an atheist at the time?
It didn't matter to me that I was an atheist and a vocal atheist, but it never mattered to me that she liked it or that she wanted to do it.
That wasn't a place where you had to connect.
Yeah. And it was a place that I went to make sure that she felt comfortable there. So just like if I didn't like watching like we all do things for the people that we love. We do those things whether we like them or not sometimes.
Wait, we do?
And so like
I gotta write that.
Sometimes you'll watch a movie that you don't want to fucking watch, right?
No.
You won't do that ever?
No, I won't do that.
Yeah, sure. How was Dirty Dancing?
Whatever, shut up.
But seriously,
that abortion movie has a lot of dancing.
It does have a lot of dancing. It should have had abortion marionettes dancing. But seriously, like you do things that you might not like and you might not enjoy, but you do it because you want to. I don't do the butt stuff. I know what you mean. But, like you just do it because you want to make sure that the other person is enjoying themselves or having a good time, whatever. And so, that's what a relationship is all about. And I feel like, too, when I see people that are really rigid on this, I say, well, you probably wouldn't be good to be in a relationship with anyway.
I don't know. Like, 'cause I think that there's some things that you can say, like, look, this is something I need in my life. I need somebody who thinks about the world in fundamentally the same way I think about the world. So like, I think like that can be like a place where you need to connect with somebody. I think that there's places where you say like, I need to connect in these places. If we don't connect in these other spaces, that's okay. I think that makes sense. I think it's kind of great that they're like, I don't want a non-related. It's just like, well, good. Then nobody's going to waste their time.
Yeah. Right. As long as you're upfront with that, that's great.
Know what you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Know what you need.
Yeah. I think, I have had experience with a lot of different religious people in my life. Yeah. And they know I'm a humanist. They know I'm not religious. They know I don't believe in a God, that I don't believe in a higher power, but they always come out respecting me because they find out I'm a good person.
Right.
Right. And I feel like, if you're two good people, whether or not you believe on where those, where the buck stops, so to speak,
you can probably find that.
You can find that commment common ground.
Yeah.
I think that it's totally possible.
Right. It would, what I think would be hard is like those people, that are, they want to solve a problem in part by praying about it. Let's pray about it.
Oh yeah.
That would be hard.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah.
That would be real. Like, I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could do that.
I wouldn't be able to do that either. But I've never prayed. I've been involved in prayer many times in my life, but I've never prayed with those people, right? Like later on in life. I did when I was a kid, but not once I became an atheist. I'm talking about after I became an atheist. I was involved in the room. I was in the room. Okay, we're all going to pray. No, we're not all going to pray. You're going to pray, and I'm going to stand here with my hands folded, waiting until you're done praying. Yeah. Because there's nothing I can do until that, and I'm not going to be rude, and I'll be there, and I'll watch them do it, and that's fine.
Right.
But I'm not part of that.
But like if somebody's like problem solving technique.
I don't think
that would be very hard.
But I also don't think that I could ever get to a level of, I almost feel like they're going to self-select out of that relationship well earlier.
Yeah,
right? You know what I mean? Like there are these girls. There are these girls. These girls are going to say,
right.
Well, I want to pray about it. Well, Jesus Christ, you need to go back on Tinder.
Yeah.
You need to figure something out. Christian Grinder or whatever you're on. I don't even know.
I pray that you swipe left next time.
Christian Grinder would be awesome. Christian Grinder. Get banged by some dude. Can we pray about this afterwards?
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Oh, my God. All right, this story's from Right Wing Watch. Rick Joyner, California wildfires were the result of your sin. Yeah. This is for you guys. I like this because of the your. Yeah. It made me laugh, just the headline up part of it. Like, it's because of your sin.
All right, I'm going to play this. This is Rick Joyner.
There's one sure thing that we're given thousands of years ago and told why these events.
They love their lens flares, though. I know you guys can't see this, but this is just lens flare again. Now there's a sunset with a lens flare.
Do you remember, maybe you didn't, I went to Methodist church and there were these like pamphlets you could take at the end. I forgot what they were called, like the fucking Good News or I
went to a Methodist church? Was it in Indiana? Methodist?
That's why I was so jittery as a kid. Oh my God, I got all my homework done in 10 minutes.
No, you were a fat kid. You weren't on meth.
I wish I was.
You look back on your childhood obesity and wish you were taking meth, speed.
Yeah,
like,
would have been better. I remember but anyway, there were these like every week you could take this like fucking read it and weep paddle. I don't remember what it was called, but it always had this sort of
called that actually.
It always had this sort of like bullshit inspirational image on it.
Oh, okay.
And I want to say like 7 out of 10 of them was like the ray of light coming through the cloud shaft thing.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So when I was a little kid, I was convinced that was like God looking down through the clouds. And so then after I thought that, I remember thinking like, well, then he can only see what's like
one little
right, and all the rest of us he can't.
He's so myopic.
I remember being like, oh man, that's how like God can see them. Like, well, he can't see shit. Like, I was so literal.
You look up at the sky like, pull back a little. Just pull back away from the clouds a little.
But this is like the same shit. It's like inspirational, light-based imagery. Like, all right.
Come. I'm talking about the warnings that the Lord gave us through his prophets, beginning with Moses and on, that this is going to be the result of your sin. If you turn from following the Lord and you start calling good evil and evil good and honoring the dishonorable and dishonoring the honorable, these are
doing all the opposites, opposite day. Bizarro world, guys.
Are going to be the consequences. And it talks about storms, it talks about earthquakes, and it talks about fires.
Well, good, because we've been earthquake, storm, and fire free for so long. Man, now they're just everywhere, Tom. We got earthquakes now. We haven't had them forever, since Moses, right?
Dude, you know what's amazing to me is like you think about like Las Vegas.
Yeah.
No earthquakes, very few storms, no fires.
Yeah.
It's sin all the time. It's just sin all the time. Right? It's just like it's not like like their version, right? But it's not like San Francisco caught on fire.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like some rich people houses burned down and then the woods were on fire. Like what a bunch of fucking druids are taking in the crapper. Like what the
They're all dancing around a tiny Stonehenge. Little druids out there.
What the fuck? He keeps devastating places that nobody lives.
It's stirring up a bunch of shit out in the middle of the ocean with those hurricanes.
Yeah,
right?
Like,
yeah.
I mean, I guess in the Philippines, and like there must be a lot of sin conveniently located by the tectonic plates
and or the jet stream. Right? Yeah.
What?
I love that they talk about as if we've never had any of these natural disasters.
These are all
before.
new.
We've had all now. If we're starting to talk about there's a lot getting more frequent, that's true. That is true. But
that's climate change.
Maybe climate change.
Yeah.
Coming upon the land and burning the land. So I think, this year we were approaching spending about $1 billion a day in America, just America, almost $1 billion a day headed towards, it was 300 plus billion a couple of months ago in natural disasters. And that is getting worse every year.
It is getting worse every year. Like you said, climate change might be a cause.
Yeah, we should do something about the root cause of that.
Why do you think... It's not
who's fucking who.
Why do you think, and this is a serious question, why do you think none of these guys jump on the climate change thing? As this, look, we know God's slow. We know God does this stuff in a sort of very... a methodical way. He's punishing us through climate change. We need to change our ways. Send me all your money. Why don't they pull this out and say, no, climate change is real and God is doing it? And
because the solutions for climate change won't affect the moral behaviors they want to control.
That's a good answer.
That's my feeling.
Right. Yeah. Because, you can still suck a dick and...
Yeah, what if a gay guy came up with a fucking carbon puller outer for the environment?
Or he just drives a Prius.
Right, yeah. Like, what?
Chances are he does.
Yeah, I know. It's
gay guy. So.
And I think the only one who has discernment on why this is happening seem to be the insurance companies.
Why can't we say the only one who knows? Why do we have to say who has discernment?
I love that, though. Discernment.
I have some discernment in my pocket. I thought you were just happy to see me. I don't. What?
A big thing of discernment. They sell it in a Jim. They sell it in a Jim Baker bucket now. Discernment.
They use that word so weird all the time that I'm actually at the point where I'm unclear.
I don't even know what it means. Do I not know what it means?
Yeah. I'm at a place where I'm like, I guess I don't know that
It's
word.
like when you say the word "put" a bunch of times. You're like, "Put." Is that right? P-U-T. Wait, what?
Hold on. Let's check. Alexa, what does discernment mean?
No, that's right. That's right.
They're the only ones who call it. These are acts of God. They call them acts of God. They really are. You say, well, is America under judgment? Of course we are.
No, America's not under judgment. We're a giant Planet Fitness. It's a judgment-free zone around here. I have no judgment.
No lunkers here in America.
So, Tom, it is time for another round of Vulgarity for Charity. We are rolling through the people who donated money to modestneeds.org, chose somebody to roast, and we are roasting them. Remember that, even if you're not going to get a roast out of it, you can still donate to modestneeds.org. You can help a family in need. Maybe they're a federal worker family.
I suspect there's going to be a lot more modest needs.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Like real soon.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Head over there.
Well, let's get started.
All right, Cecil, here's a bunch of dorky shit that you gotta make fun of, man.
All right, okay.
I want you to do it in your worst old-timey voice.
All right, here we go.
All right, this is for Edgar, Game of Thrones, and for Gene, Jon Snow.
All right. Thou art but a soap opera for men, the weakest of men. Your show hast more incest than a West Virginia orgy. And Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, you sleep with one of your siblings and you don't choose Sansa? Be gone, fool! Be gone! Shut the fuck up. You read Shakespeare, you cunt.
I'm fucking around. And I read like 5 of those books, so I'm just fucking around. All right, Daniel's D&D buddies.
Okay. My good friends, Brett and Boss. Is it Boss or Bass? I'm not quite sure. Although he's big enough to be a bass, I guess. Good morrow to thee. I expect you to venture outside once a fortnight, but thou hast failed your saving throw against the outside and hygiene.
Hygiene. All right. And Master Cecil DuPont for Master Zygmunt and Lady Jorun.
Jorun.
Lady Jorun.
Master Cecil, you are the bluntest sword in the kingdom. What a disgrace to have the same name as thou. You are of the poorest instruments, duller than any great thaw.
What the fuck? What does that even mean?
Ziggy's going to get it. Ziggy's going to get it. Ziggy's going to get it. Ziggy, that's who he just said. Master Zygmunt.
Listening. Yeah. All right, we got a lot of requests from other podcasts, so let's roast them like we're leaving a 1-star review on iTunes.
Oh, this will be, I'm used to this. So,
all right, I'm gonna Wayward Willis podcast wants us to roast the Secular Soup podcast. I'll go ahead and take that one.
Never heard of that. Secular Soup. What is that?
Secular Soup, 1 star. While secular, even broth has more flavor and body than this supposed soup.
All right, Brian wants us to roast the Waiting for Wrath show.
1 star. The only thing I was waiting for was for it to end. Thankfully, I was in a terrible car accident, which damaged my hearing irreparably. The bright side being, of course, not having to listen to this again.
Okay, here's mine. You remember that famous pundit from Wyoming? Yeah, neither does anyone else. Literally no stars. Also, the Waiting for Wrath podcast sent a donation in to roast one of the hosts, Big Gay Jim, and the AIDS charity he works for and raises money for.
Such a good charity.
WYOAIDS.org. I know we donated $500
They're
to it.
really nice people. Yeah. All right. Big Gay Jim, we wouldn't need that AIDS charity if you had just behaved.
Oh, shit.
This doesn't make up for what you've done.
Jesus Christ.
Daniel wants to kick us when we're down and roast the Citation Needed podcast.
So rude. All right, here we go.
It's terrible.
Citation Needed is the Michael Jordan baseball career of podcasts.
All right, I'll go. Citation what?
You don't get that.
I thought he played basketball.
Exactly.
Wait, did he play baseball too?
A couple years he was terrible at it. He was so bad at it.
What team did he play on?
He was in the AAAs for the Sox, I think.
Oh.
So he was in the AAA.
He never
made it up to the major leagues.
There was no way I was going to know that.
I knew you would.
That's some trivial.
And the best part, even explaining to you, it is funny. All right, Andy, not Wilson, wants us to hear about the incredulous release schedule. So
No. That's absurd. No one wants to hear about the incredulous release schedule. But I guess if you need an update, you can tune in live to their next show at QED 2020.
It's a whole year away.
They were a year apart. They did their last show at QED.
I know. This one's going to be 2 years apart. Yeah. All right. I have no idea how I'm going to do this, but Guy wants a roast of Marsh. All right. So I'm going to do this in the form of a 1-star review. Hate the newly rebranded show title. Should have stuck with Be Reasonably Skeptical. This show is the overly polite close talker of podcasts. All right. James was asking for a roast of bad retail customers.
All right. Well, I actually worked retail sales for many years, and I learned this. There are some people that enjoy wielding the small petty power that they have over the people in the world whose livelihood relies on sustaining their abuse with equanimity. But here's something they probably never stop to consider. We are spitting on your food. We are dropping your boxes in our warehouse. We are deleting your receipts so you can't return your shit. We are making you wait for things on purpose. We are signing you up for spam and sales calls, and we are purposely not offering you discounts we can offer you. Your life is a little worse because you are a dick. And the best part is that you are too stupid to realize it.
All right. Karen was also looking for a takedown of her sister's boyfriend. Go at it, Tom.
Oh, my God. Jeff with a G. You're like a million years old. And you're dating a woman 30 years your junior?
Oh, that's nice.
I can't imagine what kind of incriminating photos you have on this poor woman, but let her go, man. You look like you're 6 months tops out from needing your ass wiped with assistance.
So
I mean, like, can you even date when you're in hospice?
Jesus Christ.
What do you do, Jeff with a G? Take her out for pudding cups before turning in at 4 p.m.? Jesus.
That's so mean. Davey wants you to roast his ex-friend, Chris, Tom.
Chris, here's the thing, man. Someday you might get what's coming to you. You might. You might not. Who knows? I don't know. But here's what is definitely true. People will cycle in and out of your life, and you will always be lonely for it. And you will always struggle.
They're always so dark.
And no matter what else happens, there won't be anyone stable in your life to really love you or care about you when you're gone.
After we're done with these roasts, I feel like I just need to go see somebody for a hug. Like, I just need to be like, give me a hug. I don't care who you are. Yes, homeless person, that's fine.
I'm addicted to Rage Hall.
Here's something. Let's talk for a minute about atheist conferences. We get a lot of requests for all different kinds of atheism-related things and atheism-related people. So, Tom, this one requires you. Atheists aren't humanists for Jeannie in Vermont.
All right. So Jeannie sent us an email, and this is really for the too big for your britches, guys. Jeannie, I'm happy to help. This community, this is a funny one. It's small. It's insular. It's full of a lot of big fish unaware of the size of their pond.
Oh, shit.
And if there is anything less appealing, anything more laughable, anything more absurd and silly and narcissistic and shamefaced and outright stupid, if there's anything worse than not knowing that the tiny smattering of minuscule notoriety you may have in a community of people desperate for just a few voices to behave like human beings, it's all just an illusion that you owe to the good nature of others. And when you think that you deserve to be taken seriously as some kind of celebrity while you spend your weekends drinking at a Crown Point Plaza, you are, no matter your stature, small.
No shit, man. Jesus Christ.
All right, Daniel donated so you could talk about the organizers of ReasonCon.
Oh, hey, guys, you know what the atheist community needs. A hotel that smells like their moldy living rooms and a bar that closes at 9:30. Maybe you could splurge next year on an MC with his own teeth. I don't know. See if you can dig him up out of a fucking pier somewhere in Georgia.
Oh, my God. All right. Hey, another staple of atheist cons. Polyamorous John wants a roast of polyamory.
Oh, I mean, you might as well double up. It's not like anyone else is going to fuck either of you. The atheist community isn't loose because they don't have the hangups with sex. They're loose because it's literally the first time anyone's ever asked them.
All right, this next one isn't so much of a product of an atheist conference, but it definitely fucking applies. People who stand on the left on the escalator. This is for you, Ben.
93 million miles from Earth, a powerful nuclear reaction took place. And that light produced by our sun traveled 8.5 minutes, filled photosensitive cells with energy to help them grow. It was harvested by humans, packaged and sold to your fat ass. So maybe burn a fucking single calorie of energy it would take to shift your giant ass to the side so all the suckers who actually can climb a stair can get the fuck by. I love that one.
All right, here's another staple of atheist cons. Hemant Mehta and Pugs.
Oh.
This one's for Michael.
I am not going to burn the bridge with a friendly atheist, man. We got half our fucking stories from that guy. That's not happening. Pugs, on the other hand, Pugs are the Rocky Dennis of dogs. If you don't know who Rocky Dennis is, he's the kid from the movie Mask with Cher with the fucking lumpy face. I don't know if you remember this. It looks like a catcher's mitt. Anyway, it's like someone bred two inside-out raccoons. You take every single worthwhile trait out of a wolf, and you'll have an animal that a pug would look up to. Oh. All right. Here's one that's interesting. American Jesus. That comes up a lot, right? This one's for Jesse.
Oh, yeah. No way am I going to do this. American Jesus is best Jesus. He hates all the right things, the immigrants and liberals. You can tell how great he is by his sweet no step on snack flag.
Snack.
American Jesus kicks Middle Eastern Jesus' ass and takes his oil. All right, so here's a group of people who wanted to roast, and a lot of these are their friends. Let's roast each of these losers by just mentioning what the best thing that could possibly happen to them would be. So Najib wants us to roast his best friend, Stapler. Cecil, that's not a typo. This guy is called Stapler.
This guy's named Stapler? There's no way you could convince me that this guy could keep anything together. He looks like one of his eyes told the other he would meet him up back. And there's no way you guys aren't by the way, in this photo, there's no way you guys aren't sitting down to play Dungeons and Dragons in this photo. There's a fucking Crown Royal bag and a mechanical pencil in the fucking foreground. The best thing that could happen to this guy is he trips head first into a wood chipper so his haircut would be even.
William wants a roast of his not friend, Anders.
All right. The best thing that could happen to Anders is that his dumbass Thor necklace gets stuck on the third rail in his subway, and Hillary Clinton completes the circuit by pissing on him.
Stephanie donated so she can hear a roast of her nearly 40 best friend, Rachel.
Oh, okay. Ooh, almost 40. I wouldn't have guessed she was a day over 39, Tom, by looking at this photo. I see her dressed like Billy Idol. Now both you and your car are something loud and useless from the previous decade. The best thing that could happen to you is that saltines box on the table behind you grows big enough and swallows you because you're the biggest goddamn cracker I've ever seen. All right, Kyle requested Cortland.
All right, Cortland. You asked for some advice on how to cope with loneliness. Make some fucking friends. Or if you're you, get a dog and a prostitute and settle in. This is your life now. You're in it for the long haul.
All right, Chris wanted to hear one of Paul.
Oh, holy shit, Paul, you're a roast of yourself. Like, you look like a roast. That's what I mean by that. A cheap, shitty roast. An undercooked, floppy hunk of meat with googly eyes stapled to it. You're like Mrs. Potato Head's somehow meaty abortion.
All right. Kyle wanted a roast of Tate.
No. There's no need for a roast of Tate. Just like there is no need for Tate. For real, no one needs you.
Jesus.
All right, G donated for 2 of his unnamed friends.
All right. The best thing that could happen to you guys is that they merged you both into a single human. That way you would have a normal muscle mass and an IQ of 75. All right. Tom, David wanted me to roast medieval reenactments and you to roast people who majored in English lit. So I'm going to go first. Hey, reenactors, you know what else is period? Bullying. Give me your fucking lunch money, you nerds.
All right. Majoring in English lit is the best way to make sure no one has to error correct your suicide note.
All right. Jonathan dislikes Steve Harvey enough to pay for a roast, Tom. Have at it.
You know, man, like Steve Harvey is one of those celebrities I always have to Google because I keep forgetting why anyone pays him any money. And then like I Google him and I start to look at the Google results and I find instead that I'm watching videos of kids dying in Syria because at least they're not fucking boring. All right. Rebecca wanted us to roast the Air Force, of which she has been a part for 15 years. How the fuck can I roast the only branch of our military where most of the enlisted can read?
All right, Tom. Someone requested a Tom burning of them. So this one is for and about John.
John, here's the thing. For most people, I would say social anxiety is unwarranted. But in your case, no, man. You should be anxious. People probably don't like you for very good reasons.
Oh, my God.
Think about it, John. Most of your life, you were a loser. What makes you think you can change now? Remember, dropping a little weight doesn't change your personality.
Jesus. Moving quickly on, I'll take the next selfie. That's so mean. Maxwell wants a roast of his mustache.
Just specific.
I know, it's super specific. And actually, it's funny because he only sent a picture of his mustache, and that's it. You look like you'd have a mustache Danny Bonaducci would have if he was in a very special episode of Sons of Anarchy. One with herpes under it. You look like someone cut the top of a strawberry blonde Christmas tree off. All right, Andy is looking for a little self-immolation time.
Oh, God. Andy, I'm tired. I'm cranky. And in this moment, looking at you is not helping. You know, there's inside voices, Andy. Well, there's also inside faces. Yours is an inside face, Andy.
Faces. Take that. All right. We both know Jeff Blackwell. He's a guest and friend of the show, American Atheist, and he wants his self-basting. So here goes. Hey, Jeff. Haven't heard from you in a while. You busy creating new safe words for your board members? I just want to remind you that they're atheists, so don't use any pork products as safe words. No pork chop was ever safer on an atheist, Jeff. You're an atheist, Jeff.
So are you.
Shut the fuck up, Tom. All right. Fuck you.
All right.
All right. This last one of the self-haters is Aaron, and he requested a roast.
Aaron looks like one of those guys who grows his own yeast for his homebrew and his beard and then doesn't tell you about it until you had a fucking drink of it. And now it's in your mouth and you're sick and you're angry and soon you can feel the arterial pounding of his neck between your hands. But fuck you, Aaron, and your stupid tricks and being so funny. And he's getting weaker now and you should stop, but you don't care because all he can do is look at you with that infuriating, stupid fucking face. And when the light goes out in his eyes and you're done shaking his corpse like a fucking rag doll, instead of feeling ashamed or scared or remorseful, you see his dumb head lifelessly staring back at you and you know you've done the right thing. Okay, so that worked out. Good. Here are a few famous people. Let's do them in the form of a limerick. Thanks, Cecil. Cassandra.
You like the limericks, don't you?
I like reading them. Cassandra requests Amma. Okay. There once was a woman named Amma who looked like a very old grandma. Her religion was love. Something, a dove. I don't know how to rhyme. This woman's a liar and a thief.
That's true.
All right. Charles wants William Chauvelin.
Okay. William Chauvelin was once a priest, even though he knows the private number of the beast. He made a deal with the devil to beard at such a high level. He knew Hitler, so that's why his YouTube count increased.
All right. Anonymous asked for Eric C. Kahn. Shit. Fuck. I can do this.
No,
Let's see. I can't. Hold on. Eric C. Kahn stole money, which isn't funny.
No.
He stole from the disabled and... Wait, what? Who steals from the disabled? Something raped in prison.
Okay. All right. And Skeptic Brett wants Elon Musk. There once was a billionaire from LA who blamed the media for the negative picture they like to portray. They're just a bunch of Jews, he'd say of the news when they'd shit on his speed of sound subway. All right, so that's the wrap for our Vulgarity for Charity. We are going to be continuing on with this. If you didn't hear your roast, don't worry. We are going to get to it, we promise. But we had so many. It was such an outpouring of support. We need to try to have other show other than just Vulgarity for Charity.
We could just, this is a problem we're very pleased to have.
Yeah.
Is that we had such an outpouring of support for such a wonderful organization.
So we want to thank our patrons. Of course, we want to thank all our patrons. We want to thank our most recent patrons. And so they put in the long name of that Icelandic volcano, the
That's funny.
So
yeah. All right.
I'm going to say it. The Icelandic volcano. Confession, Ellie, and Tanner. Thanks so much for your generous donations. We really do appreciate it. If you want to become a patron of Cognitive Dissonance, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/dissonancepod, and you can become a sponsor of our show on a per episode basis. We love our patrons. We just gave our patrons last week. We watched the entirety of Trump's address, and we gave that to patrons. We recorded about 45 minutes worth of tape, played it, talked about it, and we realized that it was just too long for our show, so we just gave it to patrons. And so if you're interested in becoming a patron, there's plenty of content that you'll get, plenty of back content that you'll get, and a bunch of new content that's coming out. I want to say hello to Chad. Chad sent a long message telling us, it's nice to get these messages once in a while, Tom. It's basically this message like, hey, you guys really helped me out, and this has really changed my mind, and so thanks so much. And we get these on occasion, and these are great messages to get, so we want to say thanks to Chad for listening.
Hey, Chad, thanks for listening. He's been listening for 3 years, so thanks for listening, man. Appreciate it.
I got a couple messages from a couple different people. Elle sent in a message, and a couple other people sent messages, sort of with a little corrections. I may have misspoke last time, and I realized that while I was listening to it that I think I did misspeak. I said only honor killings were done. Women were the only ones who were honor killed in the society, in Muslim societies, and that's not true. And I realized that after I said it, I don't know if I said all or most, but I want to make sure that I say most, because mostly it's women, but men also get killed. And Al points out honor killings can happen with guys that are gay or atheist, or that sort of thing can happen all the time. So I want to recognize that that's absolutely true, that those people do die. They do kill people for honor over there, and they can be male. But I do contend that most of those are female. We got a great clip, Tom, and I just want to play it. This is a soundbite, and this is Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. And this is him talking, And somebody found this, and I'm going to absolutely include this as a bumper in our show. So I want to play it.
I think that's a part of leadership, is to have some of the guys that have gone before that have been disappointed to share it with everybody involved. For me, it's a reminder. I, too, have been here 23 years. And it is a reminder. I've been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so having said that, I want me some glory hole. So I have that perspective.
Listen to that crowd.
Snickering.
They're cackling in the background. Oh, Grandpa didn't know what he was talking about.
Maybe he did.
Maybe you're right. Maybe he fucking did.
Glory hole.
Maybe he's like, I want me some glory hole.
All right.
That's awesome. Thanks for sending that in, Lloyd. We got a great image from Tim.
Oh, this is terrific.
Tim sent in this message. It's an image. We're going to post it on this week's show notes. It's of one of our favorite congressmen, Steve King. We got a message from Mark, Tom, and there's a story that they sent along that I think is amazing. It's from Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. It's weird. The voice of West Virginia. Wouldn't that just be incest? Anyway, it says 3 West Virginia lawmakers introduced bill to help fund Trump's border wall. I guess there was a budget surplus in that state, and the 3 delegates on Tuesday announced a bill that would take $10 million from the state's current nearly $2 million surplus for the wall. I love that idea that they're taking $10 million. It's even less than the GoFundMe raised.
Let's go ahead.
It's like less than the GoFundMe.
10 million. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Get that divided by 22 billion. Yeah, still adding zeros. There we go. And there we go. Okay, good. We've got that. Anyone's wondering, that is 0.00045%.
Oh, percent.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's 0.0045%.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, forgive me.
Okay. Wow.
Of the way there. So we're almost there,
We're
guys.
almost there. Nearly there.
Yeah.
Just
so
another lots to go.
Several thousand more states that all do the same thing, we're in it.
I think as long as we get we're right. You're at a tolerance of thousands at this point. Yeah. So we need 1,000 more states.
No problem.
1,000 more states to give 10 million,
and then boom,
that's a
problem solved. Problem solved.
We got an image from Aaron, and it's of the Hamberders. So we're gonna post it on this week's show notes. I love this so much. Oh gosh, this is. While this is also the most terrifying timeline, this is the best timeline.
It's so
this
funny.
Is the best timeline.
Look, I know that we took like a sharp left.
Oh yeah,
in that space-time continuum, and I look around all the time, like, no way is this real. There's literally no way any of this is really happening. But when you see a picture of Donald Trump as president with that fucking face of his standing in front of a pile of fast food burgers.
It really is.
This is America to me,
I will say, I spend my night sometimes and I'll hear a low-flying plane and I'll think to myself, do I have only a few moments to live? And then I'll also sit back and be like, no, this is genuinely the best timeline some days. I don't know. I'm very conflicted on the whole thing. All right. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed the latest installment of Vulgarity for Charity. We will be hopefully doing more of those very soon. Keep your ears posted to when we do it and when the Scathing guys do it. There's still a bunch more to go. So if you haven't heard yours yet, don't worry. In the future, we will be doing a lot more of these. That's going to wrap it up for this week. We're going to leave you like we always do with the Skeptic's Creed.
Credulity is not a virtue. It's fortune cookie cutter, mommy issue, hypno-Babylon bullshit. Couched in scientician, double bubble, toil and trouble, pseudo quasi alternative, acupunctuating, pressurized, stereogram, pyramidal, free energy healing, watered downward spiral, brain dead pan sales pitch, late night info docutainment. Leo, Pisces, cancer cures, detox, reflex, foot massage, death in towers, tarot cards, psychic healing, crystal balls, Bigfoot, Yeti, aliens, churches, mosques, and synagogues, temples, dragons, giant worms, Atlantis, dolphins, truthers, birthers, witches, wizards, vaccine nuts, shaman healers, evangelists, conspiracy, doublespeak, stigmata, nonsense. Expose your sides. Thrust your hands, bloody, evidential, conclusive. Doubt even this.
The opinions and information provided on this podcast are intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions are solely that of Glory Hole Studios, LLC. Cognitive Dissonance makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, currentness, suitability, or validity of any information, and will not be liable for any errors, damages, or butthurt arising from consumption. All information is provided on an as-is basis. No refunds. Produced in association with the local Dairy Council and viewers like you.